Hey guys, it's Kevin and I'm back recapping Big Brother 14. Last time Mike Boogie saved Ian, and the HOH Willie put up Kara and Frank for eviction, even though Willie approached Frank to have a secret alliance. Kinda awkward. So let's go into tonight's episode. Frank is pissed that he was put on the block, and that Willie broke his word early on. And Boogie is surprised that Willie put Frank on the block because Willie swore to Boogie that Frank was safe, and you just don't lie to Boogie. Okay, so can we comment on Will's black cutout top? Honestly, if he cut that anymore, he would be shirtless. That thing was really far in. And can we further comment on Jen's pink eyebrows? I know the girl doesn't get a lot of camera time, but you don't gotta be that desperate. And also, she calls Boogie Bugs, and we're just gonna put this officially in our book that we're calling him Bugs from now on. The girl is cray. So Willie feels bad that he had put Frank on the block because it's not that he doesn't like Frank, but he doesn't like Bugs. So Willie is threatened by Bugs, and that's why Frank is on the block. So Janelle and Brittany are losing their minds. They're on the warpath to get the future past winners, Dan and Bugs out of the house because they can't stand him. They just want to prove that they can't be tricked and manipulated by him. They're losing their mind. They were like cheers and they were like, this is perfect. They were going crazy. So Dan and Bugs are putting it together, and they even got a name for the other side, the Blonde Alliance. So they aren't going to let the blondes take over the game. This is getting interesting, boys against girls. But you know what? The coaches are really controlling the house. I don't know what these movies are letting them. Like, they're like sheep. They're like doing whatever they want them to do. So when Ian's a freak news, he can kick himself in the face. And that's all we have in Ian's a Freak News this episode. I'm sure there'll be future editions coming up soon. Thankfully, to save us from this kicking is the picks for the veto competition. The 6 players are the HOH Willie, nominees Frank and Kara, and the picks were Danielle, Shane, and Will with 1L. So before the competition, Kara goes to talk to Shane and tries to work with him and says that if you win the veto, can you save me? And he's like saying, yeah, there's a strong possibility of it. But then a little bit later, Frank goes to Shane and says the same thing, and Shane says the same thing to Frank. So playing both sides. Shane is thinking this is going to enhance his game, but when you're playing both sides, it always catches people in the end, so you got to be careful. So then Bugs goes to speak with Brittany and tries to threaten her with saying that if there's going to be a replacement nominee and Willie doesn't put up Joe, then it's going to be clear that Brittany and Janelle are working together, and that's going to draw a line in the sand. And so he was pretty much threatening her with like, you make the choice in the game. You want to be allies or not. So this shit does not faze bad bitch Brittany, and she lets him know that she's not scared, and he was like, yeah, that was a bad talk. So then Brittany goes and tells Janelle this, and she's like, yeah, he's a dick, like, he tries to threaten and push people around all the time. So then Boogie comes up to Janelle and sells Dan out, and so Janelle's like, you know what, I'm gonna go tell Dan this, and now all the coaches know what a dick he is, and Dan was like, this is what I was afraid of, you know what, I'm not gonna let it happen. And JoJo is an absolute annoyance. News, I can't stand her, but try listening to her do a southern accent for 15 seconds and you'll lose your mind. Or you know what, just listen to her for about 5 seconds in her normal voice and you'll lose your mind. So finally it's time for the veto competition. Shane, Willie, Frank, Danielle, Kara, and Will with 1L are facing off in the laundromat challenge. What you had to do was find the coins on the other side and like the suds and the bubbles, and they were either a 5-cent coin, a 25-cent coin, or $1. And then you had to go to the other side and throw it through your coin slot. And it was a pretty far throw, and you had to have some patience to get it in. And so the first person to get exactly $1.30 would win. So Will with 1L was having a real problem with that aspect. He couldn't get it in at all. And Danielle doesn't know the difference between overhand or underhand. So yeah, that's where she's at right now. So it was really a 3-man race between Frank, Willie, and Shane, but Shane took it in the end. So this is going to be interesting to see who he will use the power on, because he told both Kara and Frank that he would really consider using it on them. So Brittany's team is running the house. They have all the power, and Brittany does not want Shane using that POV because it will make their alliance with Janelle obvious. But he's like, this is an individual game, so I'm doing what's best for me. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. There was a lot of, what's that called? Campaigning, but who cares? So let's just get down to it. It's the veto ceremony time, and we're going to see what Shane is going to do with his power. So he does not use the veto. He tells the nominees that he likes all of them. It's too early in the game to be doing like these big things, but rally up your votes, because you're really going to need it. Thanks for that. So what do you say now about tonight's episode? What do you think about Shane not using the veto? Who do you think's going home tomorrow night? I think it's a real toss-up because, it's all up to the Blonde Alliance. And but I think they really don't like Boogie enough that they'll just throw Frank out, you know. But it's all up to them because they have enough votes on their house. So we shall see. Leave all your thoughts below, and I'll see you tomorrow night.